Understanding the great game of business. I believe business is the hardest game that anyone can decide to play in their lifetime. Hence why if you do end up playing it well, you end up creating so much wealth. But because it's the hardest thing that you can decide to participate in, one of my focus has always been to try to find a simple mental model, something that allows me to understand the game from a principle standpoint, not in a tactic or even a strategy perspective. Because as we enter this AI world, if there's one thing that I can guarantee is that the rate at which things are about to change, no one person, no one company is going to be able to keep up. So the advantage is actually not acquired from focusing on AI. It's from focusing on principles. So in this video, I wanted to kind of like share what I think are the 4 core principles that I wake up thinking about, that when my team says, hey, we should go into this market, we should go focus on this product, we should focus on this acquisition strategy, we should focus on this, I always bring it back to these 4 core things. And they've been the foundation of my success. And I would like to share them with you. Let's get started. By the way that it works is it's not in the order of importance, but I would say that the 2 most important ones are here and here. So let's get started. Timing. What I mean by timing is having the right product for the right market, most importantly at the right time. I have seen people struggle for decades and they shift to a different product. It might even be the same market and they start printing money. I'll give you an example. The first moment I ever experienced this was when we had this client called Amar. He had been running a Facebook ad agency that it even went to doing Snapchat for brands, was struggling, never scaled past 25K per month. In 7 weeks, when we started working together, we said, hey, we can try to, do outreach for this offer. We could try to spend more money on ads, but really it's going to be tough. But we're seeing TikTok hit the scene. This was back in 2021, 2022, late 2021, early 2022. We said, but we see TikTok being super in demand. Would you like for us to, it's a new platform. Brands don't understand how to use it. They don't understand UGC, all that good stuff. He launched, pivoted on X, changed his bio, everything up to a TikTok agency, specifically focused on content. And they scaled to $66,000 per month in 7 weeks with 0 ads and with 0 outreach. I was like, what is this? And from this one lesson, I started doubling down on getting our clients to focus on doing what? On embracing new platform shifts. Short form content hits the scene back in 2022. I had this good friend of mine, client, Jiro, really good on content, had been struggling to scale his agency since the 2020 time, going through courses from Iman, learning how to start an agency, still struggled. When he launched a short form content agency, helping coaches, people doing content, turn them into shorts. They did this 4 days after launching his campaign, was able to book 3 meetings in 24 hours, 50 looms sent, and $27,000 of deals closed in a single week. 2 months later, they was doing $20,000 a day. AI, voice agent. Wyatt was a 16-year-old, literally, you can see date of birth, was born in 2007. My God. Came to us already doing a voice agent, right? Became a client, saw this idea of how we were building infrastructures and stuff like that. Became a client on November, I forgot the date, end of November 2023. By March of 2024, 26th of March, they had done $50,000 a week. Same thing. Stuck between 2 to 5K selling to med spas, 70K a week, a month, doing the same thing. Hannes, going after health and wellness brands, launched this thing, $40,000 a week. When I tell you that the only thing that you should probably understand is that if you understand that timing is the number 1 skill that changes everything for entrepreneurs. The ability to say, hey, I'm good at this, but it's simply not what the market wants right now. And allowing yourself to give up on what doesn't work and embrace what works completely change your life. That's what happened when I stopped selling Facebook ad, pivoted to appointment setting, $30,000 a month. Okay. I literally spent 3 years struggling to start this agency, make money, pivoted to something, started making money. Regardless of the other things, the client acquisition, the fulfillment, you could be so bad at those things, but be good at this just one thing, everything changes. Hence why we built the Truth Engine. The Truth Engine is based on what is it that the market wants right now. So when we start working, it is imperative to understand that we're not going to work all the other things, the work, the systems, the AI, the cook AI, that's not valuable. If this is not solved for, you should never do something unless you have true insight into this is the right thing right now. Once you understand this, then you're ready to get to the next stage. It's not true that there will always be the right time. You might be late, right? And that's fine. But if you can find something that is new in your market and that the market does not know how to do themselves, go sell that. Do not focus on anything else other than just doing this. Once you solve this, beautiful. Everything else can be bad. You're going to print. If you're not able to solve this, what then? That's where we're getting to positioning. And positioning has been this one thing that I'm always amazed by how impactful it can be in saturated markets. Essentially, what positioning is this mindset of you may have the right product for the right market, but they might simply not see the value. They might not even want to try it. They might not even want to give you the time of day to listen or to even watch your short about what you're currently selling. When you're in that position, it is important to understand that the issue may not be the thing you're selling. It may not even be the market, but it may be how you're presenting it to them. And I want to tell you a quick story, funny lesson that I learned. 7-Up, the drink, when they were launching, they had launched and they had this value proposition that, people didn't really understand. And they did this marketing strategy where they actually rebranded to being called the Uncola. Okay? They essentially went against Coca-Cola and said, instead of this, we do this better. Instead of this, we do this better. So they're essentially going the opposite of what the main player of the game, the main product of this category is doing. And what that did is it doubled their sales. I think like 56% more sales just from doing what? From going against the grain and going against the current narrative. How does this work in real business? One of the things that we did by pivoting to selling infrastructures, so most service providers, they sell, maybe they're systems integrators, maybe they sell lead gen, maybe they sell appointment setting, maybe they sell on sales. Well, what we did is we're not going to come to businesses and just say that we're one of these, because then we're just competing in a sea of people or just chaos. What we realized is we're just going to completely pivot. Instead of saying we just implement voice agents or we sell ads or we sell this, we said you don't have to pay us every month. We're going to build the infrastructure in your business that solves every problem in your business. The value here was not even the deliverables. It's cool that we can build people's offers, sales assets, systems, lead flow. That's cool, but that's still commoditized. What's not commoditized is the promise of solving every single bottleneck in a business, okay? And have a pricing model where they only pay for it once. What that triggers in a prospect's mind is, oh my God, not only are they going to solve everything for me, but they're also not going to keep charging me stupid retainers every single month. It's like dopamine 1 and then dopamine 2. So you're like checking off boxes after boxes after boxes. And then people are like, oh my God, even if they've already tried the appointment setting, they've already tried the ads, even if they've already tried hiring a sales team, it's the fact that you solve it in a way that's completely different. Your value proposition is orthogonal. It goes opposite of what they're currently used to buying and failing at. That's lesson number 2. You have to make sure that if you're going to want to win in a market, what is your positioning? Are you just like everybody else? If you're everybody else, okay, and everybody in that market is struggling, why would you expect not to struggle? You're going to struggle if you're going to be the same value proposition, the same messaging, the same pricing. Good luck. You're going to fail, right? It is imperative that we attack a market in a way that makes us stand out. And you do that how? how are you going to deliver, right? Maybe you go in a market where people are being sold information and then you sell the actual done for you. That's a way to change your positioning, okay? Pricing. People don't want to pay every month, but they're happy to pay a lot of money upfront. Understand that. Understand positioning, and you change everything. This year has been one of the most important business lessons I've ever learned. The moment that I pivoted from selling, $700 a month, $1,500 a month retainers to selling these infrastructures, everything changed. The same success that my clients see when we do the same thing in these markets is the same transformation that I saw. My life completely changed. I did not work harder. I did not spend more money on ads. I did not do any of that. Started charging more money up front. The rest is history. Positioning is crucial. Always ask yourself, am I positioning in a way that makes me stand out or not? Third point, leverage. By the way, this year gets you rich fast. This year gets you rich fast. And leverage also matters in getting rich fast. Why? When it comes to fulfillment. Let's start with fulfillment here. A business value is based on its throughput. How much value comes out of your business? Is it a tiny little hole where you can just let 10 grand a month worth of value coming out of it because you're the bottleneck, you're serving every client, you're building all the assets, you're doing all the strategy? Or do you have 50,000 employees all working to build something for the market? Anthropic, they just added $6 billion in ARR in a single month, right? 6 billion. How can you add 6 billion in a single month? It's impossible unless the way that you fulfill is leveraged. So it doesn't matter if you have the right product, the right time. It doesn't matter if you have a positioning that makes you stand out. Are you still the bottleneck in fulfillment? If you are, forget about what? This year. Lesson number 1. The next bottleneck, once you figure out the right positioning, the right thing, is going to be fulfillment, not how to get clients. Because getting clients is easy once you have the right thing. Literally, you don't even have to go looking for them. They're going to come for you, right? But most people don't ever realize this, that as long as you stay stuck in the back end is the thing that's going to kill you. So you have to understand that once you found the right thing, the right market, the right pricing, the right everything, the right value proposition, and people are giving you money, your number one focus as a founder, remove yourself from fulfillment. Boom. You figure that out. How? For us, the way that we did it before AI was through what? Through building these systems. A snapshot on GHL. We would build this playbook. We would document how do we build offers, how do we build this, what's currently working, and we would document it. In a standard process for every single thing we would do was documented. So that what that allows us to do is even a VA could be hired for $5 an hour and run the same playbook for a client that just paid $10,000, and they would get the same amount of value. You have to standardize how you give someone value. The beautiful thing with AI now, instead of doing it that old way, you still have to document, but then turn it into skills on how you do the actual job, figure out the integrations, and then turn that into a snapshot, into a playbook, and then give it to an AI employee, which is what we work on much later on once you actually have that entire playbook and then get AI employees to run that thing. So of course, this is going to be super easy in the world of AI. The next thing is acquisition. It is super crucial to understand that once you've solved the fulfillment, and now it's all about being acquisition constrained. The fulfillment is no longer the bottleneck. Now front end is. You have to get your foot into acquiring attention in a leveraged way. You simply cannot just keep spending money on ads, keep doing a bunch of cold outreach. You have to figure out a way to do what? Create content that gets distributed to the people in your market without you having to spend a dime or time on effort, on outreach, on client acquisition, on ads. What this allows you to do is it allows you to give you back so much margins. It allows you to get clients without you burning your cash flow. The other thing too that's cool about fulfillment is that by removing yourself and standardizing the process around that you follow to get clients results, it also gives you back your margins, right? Especially if you do it with AI. But acquisition leverage, super important. Content, paid ads, cold outreach. That's how I order it. Content is most leveraged. Ads is next best leverage because you can amplify the content that worked well organically. The next thing is, if you can't do none of those two things, let's go to cold outreach. But maybe before you call people, cold email, automate DM outreach, automate or hire people to do it for you. Never do it yourself. And if you keep doing it yourself, you're going to be capped forever. I would even go to the degree of saying that you should remove yourself completely from acquisition. You should just be doing content. Someone should be running the outreach. Someone should be running the ads. It could be AI or it could be an employee. Closing deals should also be removed. You should be removed from it. The reason why that's important is because when you remove yourself, you allow so much more throughput to come into your front end. But if you're still stuck in the loop in one of these, then it's going to be constrained back to you. You don't have enough time in a day. You cannot be the CEO, the closer, the setter, the fulfillment person. You cannot be all of that. So you need leverage in these areas. If you figure these three out, 100 grand a month, 500 grand a month, easy. These three things: what is the right product for the right market at the right time? What is the right positioning? To be honest, once you have the right timing, you could not even have positioning. But if you're in a market where it's competitive, fix your positioning. Fix your positioning, get leverage in how you acquire clients and in how you fulfill, start making millions of dollars per year. Now, just because you got rich fast does not mean you're going to get rich for sure. There is a difference in understanding that the thing that got you your first million is not the thing that's going to get you your first 100 million, or that's going to keep you making millions for a lifetime. A lot of people figure this out once and they end up going broke because they don't realize that if it's a leaky bucket, you're just going to make a lot of money and you're going to burn it just like how you made it. Hence why people go up like this and go back up down like this. So rule number one about building wealth: retain your clients. For the love of God, every single person who gives you money, I want you to cherish them. I want you to wake up thinking about their desires, and then I want you to audit what is the friction around you getting the thing you desire. And then you ought to wake up every single day and make you your number one goal to remove this friction out of your client's life. The reason why I'm making this video, literally, is because of this. By making this video, I'm trying to clarify everything in our community's kind of like thought and our clients' thought and way of thinking. And this is me removing friction. Me making this video is me removing friction. First thing in the morning, I want to record this. Why? Because I want clients having clarity. You should do the same. If you do not understand this, you're not going to be able to retain your clients. Most importantly, if you do not remove all the friction, they'll never see results. If they don't see results, why would they keep paying you every month? Why would they buy the next product? Because one thing is for sure, just because you sold this first infrastructure does not mean that you can retain people. You can get rich, but not be wealthy. You could be making $1 million a month and still be living paycheck to paycheck. This is the thing that nobody understands. Just because you see someone saying, oh, I'm making $1 million a month, does not make that person someone that you should look up to. It just means that they understand these first 3 points. They found the right thing to sell and they have leverage. That's it. It does not mean they understand how to actually build wealth and compound it, right? All wealth is built from what? Making time your ally. And the way that this works is you should get richer without you working. It's just that simple, right? And the only way that's possible is if the people that you first acquired in your first offer keep paying you over and over and over again. Now, first step, retain them by giving them value on the first thing they bought. But the next thing you need to understand is even after they buy that first thing and you remove friction from that and they get value, a new constraint is created from that, right? I'll give you an example. If someone doesn't have leads and I get them leads, guess what? It's not like they've suddenly just every problem in their life is solved. No. Even if they can book appointments, they're still going to be closing. So they're like, oh my God, I'm too overwhelmed with all the lead flow. Okay, perfect. Would you like for us to help you to remove you from selling? Or if it's a fulfillment thing, hey, I can't deliver to all these clients. Okay, perfect. Would you like for us to automate your fulfillment? See, there's always an opportunity to, once you create success here, it creates a new constraint. And that next constraint is your opportunity to retain them. It's another opportunity to remove friction. And by removing friction that keeps them, that stands between where they're at and what they want, that's an opportunity for you to monetize. Every single problem, in my lens of viewing the world, I see it as an opportunity. I've never seen a client have an issue and see it as a problem. I never look at issues as an issue. I look at, okay, is this a problem? Okay, perfect. Let's solve it. Let's go make money. In my own business, whenever I hit an obstacle that's so painful, I don't look at it as, oh, this is bad. No, I'm like, okay, cool. If I figure out how to solve it, I can build a product around it and then give it to what? To the next person who's going to want to avoid the pain. If you can have this mindset of seeing every obstacle as an opportunity, you're never not going to have the opportunity to give people more solutions. And by giving them more solutions, you make more money. But the best way to do it is figure out a way to segment the different solutions into what? Things that are recurring and things that happen one-off. So I'll give you an example. Marketing needs content. This is recurring value. Content is needed over and over again. Let me think of something that is nice, maybe not recurring. Systems. Let's say like a system to track the data from content. Or let's say I come in and integrate an infrastructure to convert your leads or a voice agent. Some people try to monetize it on a recurring basis, but it's like, building it once, you can kind of like charge for management, but you're not really doing anything afterwards, right? But they won't have appointments to set if they don't have new content or new ads to run. So your goal is to get your foot in the door with something that is a one-off, charge one time. And you can also have more of these to sell on the back end. You can sell them one system and then on the back end, sell them the next system. But you should always be thinking about what is the thing that is going to be reoccurring that they need more of on a consistent basis, that they don't just need once, that then I can build a solution that gives it to them and then they pay me monthly. So all of our clients who are killing it, who scale past 200 grand a month, what they're coming into these businesses then doing is they're solving their offer, their lead gen, and then their appointment setting, right? But they're mainly leading for, let's say, their infrastructure, their systems plug and play. And then they're like, hey, by the way, now that you have this system, you now need ads. Would you like for us to give you new creatives every week? That brand, that company pays them $1,000, $2,000 a month for creatives. It's the easiest, most leveraged thing you can sell. And now AI can do all of it. So now you sell the infrastructure, you retain on what? On consumables or on things that like they need more of every time, every day. Information is, by the way, is one of them. More value on a recurring basis is good because people need new insights. I deal with this issue. Okay, I need to think through it. Okay, perfect. Give me the new information to know how to reason through this current problem, right? If you solve the idea of selling a front-end product and then you sell on the back end something that is recurring, you're never going to worry about what? Not getting rich for sure and actually building wealth. Because once people are in the habit of getting the value from you on a consistent basis, they're never going to churn. As long as you don't try to charge them an arm and a leg. I'll see a lot of people who are like, oh, I can only charge 5-10 grand a month. I'm like, nobody's going to keep paying you 5-10 grand a month. They're going to keep questioning your value at the end of each month. So the insight here is you charge up front a lot of money, 10 grand, 15 grand, maybe a lot of money for your market could be 5K. But then on the back end, you charge $500 a month, 10 to 20% of the initial fee. If you charge 10 grand, charge 1K, charge 1,500. The reason why this is valuable is because the person who paid you 10K, 15K, when you give them a $1,500 a month bill, they're going to be like, oh, this is amazing. This is actually cheap. And they're going to want to stay and keep paying you for a lifetime. But if you try to charge them a monthly fee that gets them to pay attention to it on their P&L, you're going to be the first thing that they cancel. The moment that their profit margins, they're going to be like, wow, if I fire this person, I get back 5K per month. 5K a month is a lot of money, right? So for me, this is how I've been thinking through the game, which is, are we selling the right thing to the right market at the right time? If we don't have something like this, perfect. What is the positioning that's going to allow us to stand out? Find the right perfect positioning. Allow you to have more demand and the ability to charge more money because you're doing it in a different way. Leverage. How am I getting attention? How am I getting appointments? How am I closing deals? Am I still in the bottleneck, in the weeds, in the whole client acquisition process? If I am, I'm going to be capped on what? 10, 20, 30K a month at most. If I want to do 50 grand, 100 grand, 500 grand a month or more, I need to remove myself. Fulfillment, forget about scaling past 30 grand per month till you remove yourself completely from fulfillment. Last piece, once you figure this out, easy to run a $500,000, $5 million a year business until you realize that, oh my God, I need to actually cherish these clients, give them the value, and then so they can buy more solutions from me. Some may be one-off, others may be what? On a recurring basis. This here is like the 4 things. And by the way, your problem at any time in business is going to be based on these few things. It's, are you selling the wrong thing? Nobody wants what you have to sell. Okay, perfect. Fix that. Or then the next thing is you have something that's actually good, but nobody's resonating with it because you're selling it just like everybody else. The next thing is, do you have leverage in acquisition or fulfillment? You don't have leverage in any of these, you don't go nowhere. Now, something that compounds and grows further without you having to put effort and sacrifices in it, you need to compound it. You need to wait for people to keep giving you money over and over and over again for a lifetime, right? Look at any business that is great and that is willing to pour so much money into hiring thousands and thousands of people. The number one thing they solve is that they build a product so good that you never leave. And now all they have to do is get your attention. Literally, that's all the game is about. Build a product that is so sticky that you never leave, then let's go burn all the marketing budget that we need to burn, because it doesn't matter, because these people, these clients are going to stay forever, these customers. These 4 things is how I personally reason through business. Anytime I'm struggling, it is either from the product, the positioning, the market, the timing, or I don't have a leverage way to acquire clients or fulfill, or I don't have a way to retain clients. Solve these and you're going to be good. That's it.